Welcome to the Life of Styn, where our goal is to make your life yours again, to take back control from the currents of life and create something you actually care about, create a life you want to live. Now, I want to wish everybody happy holidays from wherever you're from, but I also know that this is the hardest time of the year for a lot of you out there, whether it be because you don't have anyone or maybe you lost someone close to you that made these times mean something. Whatever it may be, for those of you out there listening to this, you're not alone. I don't know where you're at in your life, but if you feel like you're just barely making ends meet and you're just surviving day after day, shift after shift, maybe life doesn't feel like it's worth living. Maybe you feel alone. Maybe you feel like the universe is against you and nothing works out in your favor. You may feel depressed and barely hanging on. You may be suffering deeply. You may be asking yourself what it's all about. Or maybe you don't mind living life, but you don't particularly enjoy it. Maybe you're not afraid of death and maybe you see it as salvation. But again, whatever it may be, this video is for you. I don't come from a higher place than those of you who feel like this because I know exactly what it feels like. Maybe I've never been in your position, and maybe I don't truly understand everything you've been through. But there is one thing I know about. We all feel pain and joy the same. And instead of giving everyone pain so you can have joy, maybe we can start working in a way where we all win. But for now, let's focus on you, because you need to be the most important person in your life. Not in a selfish, egotistical, survival driven way, but in a way that if you become a better version of yourself, the world becomes a better version of itself. Anyway, about before, if you feel pain, grief, sorrow, anger, hate, whatever it is, it's okay, and your feelings are validated, but we're going to stop using them as excuses to perpetuate our own actions. It's okay to not be okay. But that's something I learned early on in life. What I have learned recently, and I'm still trying to embody, is that it's okay to be okay. It's okay to be happy. Do you always find yourself worrying about what's to happen next? Are you always afraid of the next thing to come and mess up a good thing? Do you find yourself not allowing yourself to be happy because you may not feel like you deserve it, or because you will feel foolish when something comes along and destroys it? One way we perpetuate our own state of being is through a couple of different facets. One way is by hating and rejecting the negative emotions, like anger, grief, anxiety, depression, sadness, hate, fear. Counterintuitively, the more we try to push these emotions away and not feel them, the stronger they feel, and the stronger they come back and attack you. And the more you continue to feel like these. So, the more you end up perpetuating the suffering. We're afraid if we accept and let ourselves feel those negative feelings that they won't ever go away. But when we do that, we actually create the very hell we wish to avoid. To heal it, you need to feel it. Don't bottle up your emotions. They store in your body physically and they destroy you mentally. Allow yourself to feel the negative emotions fully in your chest, your body, your mind. When you truly do that, they will cease. And the same traumas that haunted you for your whole life, they will also cease. The traumas you refuse to see and look at. One thing I want to make clear is in self development or spirituality or whatever you call it, you may hear many talk about higher vibration or emotions and lower ones. They make it seem like the higher ones, quote unquote, like happiness, joy, compassion, peace, etc., are the good ones, and that the lower ones, like hate, anger, fear, sadness, are the quote unquote bad ones. But I'm here to clear that up right now. Because when we ascribe to this belief system, we chase the good ones and reject the bad ones. And that creates suffering long enough to last for thousands of years. All emotions are sacred. None are better than any other. And when we stop being so biased about whether we're sad or happy, we eliminate the suffering part of this. I spent a lot of my life hating everything, and it's because I was disillusioned towards what was actually the case. Your suffering may seem very real, and I'm not here to discredit that. Because if you feel like you're really suffering, then it doesn't really matter if you actually are or not. Because that's what you feel, and that feels more real for you than anything else. And it can drive us to do unthinkable things. It can drive us to kill ourselves. And it can drive us to let our traumas haunt us. It allows our past and our past actions haunt and control us. But what we're doing here at the Life of Styn is alleviating this, taking back control, being able to forgive ourselves and forgive others for what happened in the past and to move on so that you can create the life that you've always envisioned. But we have to heal the broken parts of us. And it's hard, especially when we feel completely broken, but we need to start somewhere. Now, you may have heard about like healing the inner child, but it's not just about healing the version of you when you were a child and your ideas of life were shattered, or maybe you went through unspeakable things. Now, obviously, those parts of you need to be healed, but so does, let's say, the 16-year-old version of you that had to figure it out on your own. Or fast forward to the 25-year-old version of you that had to do regrettable things to make ends meet or to survive whatever it is or whatever version of you it is, whether it was last year or 10 years ago. There may be multiple versions of you that need healing. Maybe the version of you that needs to be healed is the version of you that had to go overseas and do and witness unbearable things just to protect your country. Maybe the version of you that needs to be healed is the version of you that couldn't save that kid or didn't make it to that call in time. Or maybe you feel like you didn't make the right decision. Hindsight 2020, of course. Now, whether you're a first responder, military, or just a regular citizen in your country, all I want to say is thank you for sticking around, taking one more step, doing what has to be done but is super hard to do. Work towards what you value in your life. All of life has challenges, but nothing is hard or easy. It is that it just may require more effort and energy. But one thing I know for sure is you can do it. Stick around with me on this journey called life. Keep pushing forward. It's worth it. How do I know? Because I've been there in the times where I felt it wasn't worth it. And now that I am where I am, I'm so glad I kept going, that I kept pushing forward. The experiences I would have missed out on, the childhood dreams I've accomplished would have never happened. Having a perspective in which I love myself in life and that I'm grateful for it, that none of that would have ever happened. I would have only known a life of suffering. But now that I see both sides of the coin, and I want everyone to remember who they truly are and help them see the other side of the coin. The part of the coin that is always at peace and joyful, even when life's beating you down, even when your emotions are attacking you, even when life seems to be crumbling. It is possible to be at peace when the chaos ensues. Stick around and we will do just that. You don't have to know how. You just have to want to heal and want to be happy. Set your intentions and you'll figure it out. Much of our own fear stems from not doing enough, not being enough, or not having enough. We're going to eliminate all of those fears and we will battle life with courage because you might not know it yet, but you are doing enough. You are enough and you have enough. You have everything. You're perfect and you're going to figure it out. Trust yourself, trust the universe or whatever you believe in. Have faith, persist, and it will work out for you. If you have the drive to be better, to do better, or to stop suffering, you will achieve it. You can do and achieve anything, but it's not enough if I know that. You need to know that. But guess what? Here at Life of Styn, we can make it possible. I'm here for you, and if you ever need anything, feel free to reach out. If you don't like how I teach, or maybe I don't feel like I'm the right one for you, but you kind of like what I talk about, I can give you plenty of resources to find the right person for you. Just like therapists, you need to find the one that works for you. And if it doesn't, move on and find what works better for you. Religious people usually find healers in their religion. Materialists find healers in their paradigm. I try to approach from more of a holistic view so that everyone may benefit from what I teach, and so we can kind of see how the materialist scientists and the religious facets of life are not so different after all. But the only person who knows what you need is you. And if you don't, you're the only person who can figure that out. I can only offer ideas and theory. Only you can do the work. But I can be alongside you while you do it. Just remember this, and even if you don't have anyone, know you are loved. Life can be whatever you want. Let's make it happen. Watch my other material. Just start out watching what you think applies to you, what seems the most practical for you. And then when you've done enough of that and want to start branching out, watch some of my other more controversial topics or topics that maybe you feel like don't apply to you. That way we can start to expand what we thought was possible in our current beliefs. And lastly, have the day you were meant to have.